Hi guys, it's not starting. Has it started? Maybe it has. Oh,
Here we are.
yes, we have started. Fantastico.
All right, we're live.
Good evening,
Nice.
everybody. It's Radlin Mendoza and John Gardner here at Gardner and Mendoza Immigration Law Firms. And look, we're getting a little fuzzy there on the camera.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing all right out there. Hot, hazy days of summer.
Keep going. I'm just doing some.
Take a little break from all the heat, all the time at the beach, all the time out at the pool to get some immigration updates and some court updates and some legislative updates and all of your immigration questions answered right here.
Absolutely. And we are testing out Facebook Live Producer. So if we have some techie issues, we apologize. Shoot us a comment if things are going awry, and maybe we can fix it.
Something seems weird.
All right, honey. What are we? This is my honey and also my law partner. You see how what is that?
You think that's coming up on the Facebook Live?
Absolutely. Look at it right here. It's craziness. Hello, Sue, Barbara, and Miss Pinto. Hope you guys are doing well. That may happen sometimes. I don't know. Does that mean that?
Oh, you're right. It is going to happen there.
Yeah, boo. It's okay. We're going to go through it. We may kind of look a little poltergeisty here.
Yeah, you'll see us fuzz out. We've got bad weather rumbling in soon. Maybe that's what it is. Or maybe it's a computer problem. Who knows?
Yeah, it's bad weather.
Blame the weather.
It's
Always
good.
Blame the weather.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I can't hear you. I'm going into the tunnel now.
Okay. Sorry, we're going to have to end this right now because of the... Just kidding. Just kidding. We are rocking and rolling today. What are we talking about today?
Okay, well, I am going to give you a brief update. I was back in court today in Norfolk. That was very exciting. Haven't been down in Norfolk for a while, and so I'll kind of give you a feel for what's going on. We're going to get some USCIS and immigration law updates, as we do every week, and I think that's really the number one reason we do these and the number one reason people tune in.
Not true.
We're going to talk a little bit about the new marijuana law because it decriminalizes marijuana, and we talked about it last week, what that means. But for our clients and non-U.S. citizens, that's a huge, huge potential risk. And so we want to make sure that we're very clear on what the risks are for our non-U.S. citizen clients. We're going to talk about a couple more legislative updates. I will very briefly, involving in-state tuition and driving privilege cards. And of course, your questions. I mean, that's the other main thing. If you have any questions about immigration law, anything you think we might know the answer to, let us know. Pop it up there and we'll get to it. All right?
Yes, please write your questions in. It makes it more interesting for us because we like to be challenged on the daily.
Yes.
During Facebook Live.
Right. We like to be put on the spot live to answer an immigration law question.
Or criminal law. Absolutely.
Immigration law questions.
That's why we're here. We really want to provide as much value to the community.
Yeah, any questions.
In all seriousness. Any questions, if you have a question, please put them in the comments and bear with us with our tech issues. There's just a huge storm coming through Virginia Beach.
Yeah. I think I just heard some thunder.
All right, so before we get into what we're going to talk about, I wanted to talk about a big win at Gardner and Mendoza. And I'm not going to go through super gory. I mean, I probably will go through some details that you guys don't want to hear about. But these clients, they came to me about 10 years ago. And, when I meet with clients and I do a full assessment of their case, we go through their full immigration history, family members, all the things that immigration lawyers do, or we as immigration lawyers do. I don't know if every immigration lawyer does it. Hopefully they do. But we just go through the whole history of the case. And this is about 10 years ago, and I said, there's nothing that we can do for you at this moment in time. Come back to me when your daughter turns 21. And so 10 years
Sorry about that.
passes. And they came back. Daughter turned 21, and we were able to file their case with the Immigration Service. And we did it through a law called 245I, La Ley de la Multa, which is what our Latino clients call it. and it was a law that was in place at the time, very short period of time, from 1221 1221 oh my gosh 1221 2000 until April 30th of 2001. So there was a very brief moment. Anyway, they were grandfathered onto this law, and it's very exciting to us when we see this, because we're actually able to do something for people who have been out of status for a very, very, very long time. So they came back. There was some back and forth with their case with our local immigration office after their interview, and we just got notification today that their green cards, their lawful permanent resident status, has been approved for both parents. And, it's really the process that we're proud of, but I'm telling you, that was a huge, big win and big victory for us. Every single one of our team members had their hand on this file as far as working on it and making sure that the case had the best chance of getting approved. And again, it just meant so much to me, because when I sit here and I tell people, gosh, I'm so sorry, there's nothing that I can do for you. It really takes a lot out of me, because as an immigration lawyer, as attorneys, we're trained to help, we're trained to fix, and it hurts. It hurts my heart when I can't, I review a case and I can't do anything. So for them to come back so many years later and just have the faith in me and in the law firm to do this case that's so, so very important, means a lot. So huge win.
Yeah,
we're super excited.
That's a 2 thumbs up.
It's absolutely 2 thumbs up. And again, we have wins every single day, but this one, as my kids like to say, this one hit different.
That's right.
So
she's really, really smart. When I first saw Radlin in law school, her intellect immediately caught my eye.
Right.
I have to say that was what it was.
Oh, thanks, honey.
I'm just like, that's a smart one right there. Sharpest tool in the shed.
That's a keeper.
Yep.
I don't know about that, but it was just more a testament to our law firm and just kind of what we are to the community, and it just meant a lot to me. And today, we were just high-fiving each other virtually, and I yelped for joy when I got the email from USCIS. And I had Jackie call the client, and she also yelped for joy, according to Jackie. So that was awesome. Anyway, all right. You are up next.
Yeah, very briefly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I said that was going to be a brief story, but it wasn't. It was long. I want to remind everyone that this Facebook Live and the videos and the content that we put out on Facebook, our lawyers told us to tell us that this is for educational purposes only. So this is for educational purposes. If there's something here that we say that sticks out in your mind, intrigues you about your own immigration case, please do not act on what we're telling you, because
legal advice.
This is not legal advice.
It's legal related information.
Correct. And an immigration attorney and every attorney, they have to take a look at your case from your immigration history from beginning to end. Every case is different, and you have to really talk to an immigration attorney to make sure that the path that you're on is the right path. So just a reminder, we love you guys. We love coming up on here every Wednesday night, but we just want to remind you guys that, hey, you got to get an evaluation if you think something here resonates with you, and don't act on what we say, because it is not legal advice, and your whole history has to be examined.
That's right.
All right, rock and roll. Let's see. We have some people here. Hello, Miss Wendy. No questions yet. No questions yet.
So let's talk about the state courts for a minute while we're waiting for some questions to come in. I was back in court in Norfolk today, and I got to tell you that everything seems to be up and running about up to normal again. So I've been in court in Chesapeake and Virginia Beach since the quarantine started, and I saw far fewer people. Norfolk today felt just like a regular old day in court. So as a matter of fact, in Norfolk at least, they're doing everything now except for jury trials. And so they're full steam ahead. Make sure that you have a mask with you, and there are markings on the seats for keeping social distancing. But there are a lot of people in the courthouse, and so it's a lot of people together. So just make sure you bring some hand sanitizer and a mask if you're concerned about it. But if you have a case in Norfolk, I would make sure you plan on going, because everything is going forward. Okay.
So you say there are a lot of people.
Yeah.
Can you estimate how many people? Just
at least 50, 60, just in traffic courtroom.
Are we social distancing with the 50, 60 people?
Well, they were social distancing in the courtroom, sitting marked spots apart from each other, but right outside the courtroom where you kind of mill around and wait and chat with your lawyer and so forth, not so much social distancing going on there. So just be aware, okay? All their cases are going forward. Like I said, the Supreme Court of Virginia has extended its judicial emergency order through August 9th. So technically there's a judicial emergency still because of COVID-19, but the local courts have a lot of discretion to set the things that they want to do the way that they want to do them. And again, the Circuit Court in Norfolk as well issued an order a few days ago specifically saying that they are hearing everything that they were always hearing except for jury trials, regardless of the matter, the length of time. So they're full steam ahead, all right? As far as Virginia Beach is concerned, Virginia Beach, if you have a criminal case that is scheduled in Virginia Beach, those cases are all going forward as scheduled. If you have a traffic case in courtroom C, those are going forward as scheduled. Also, as of July 1st, traffic cases in traffic A and B are also going forward as scheduled, as are civil cases. And also, as of July 1st, the Virginia Beach Juvenile and Domestic Relations District Court is now hearing all matters, including trials and other contested cases. So what does this all mean? Well, for the last few months, I've been telling you that a lot of stuff is getting continued. A lot of stuff has been canceled. You'll be getting letters from the court with your new court date. That is not the case anymore. If you've got a case coming up in Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Newport News, Chesapeake, anywhere in this area, you better find that paperwork and find out what the date is, because it's pretty much all systems go. You do need a mask, like I said. Make sure you have a mask to go into the courtroom.
So that's mandatory.
Yes. And they also are still limiting who can be in the courtroom. So if you are a lawyer, the defendant, a police officer, or a witness, then you can be in there. Otherwise, you can go into the courthouse, but you can't go into the courtroom. So you just have to hang out outside. All right, so that's the report from the front lines of the courthouses in the area for today. All right.
Excellent. And with regard to, this is kind of a weird question, but like sanitizing, and do you see people kind of wiping things down? Or
nope. Okay. I saw no wiping down of anything. I just saw people, and and the mask rules is absolutely strict, so make sure you have a mask. I did not see a single person without a mask. And when people were entering the courthouse and they were like holding the mask in their hand, the sheriff's deputies were immediately telling them, and the court security personnel were immediately telling them that they needed to put the mask on. So the mask rule is very strict, but it's just, I guess I was a little surprised at how many people were there, only because I've been going to court throughout the COVID-19 lockdown for limited matters, and I've been seeing a lot of courthouses that look like old Western ghost towns. I mean, very few people. This is the first time I've been back in court where it just felt like a regular pre-COVID-19 court day. So just be aware. Okay.
You want to quickly go over just what we're doing here at Gardner Mendoza to just keep our team safe and the folks who come into our office for an appointment, since just kind of segue into that?
Yeah, sure. So we also are having a mask policy here. So if you come to visit us, you do want to bring a mask with you. We are strongly encouraging folks to do Zoom meetings rather than in-person meetings. And the reason for that is because it's very effective. I mean, we can totally provide the same service through a Zoom meeting as we would through an in-person meeting. That said, we understand that some folks just prefer to come in and see us in person, and we will accommodate you if that's what you want to do. You can schedule an in-office appointment. We are absolutely, adhering to all the social distancing. So if you do come in, don't feel offended that your lawyer is sitting on the opposite end of a long table from you. It's just so that we can have the 6 feet from each other. All right. We are sanitizing everything. I mean, we are constantly washing hands here. After every single meeting that we have with anyone, we're wiping down the chairs, we're wiping down the conference room tables, we're wiping down all the handles. When the mail comes in, we're wiping down everything associated with the mail. And so we are really, really doing our part. You do not have to worry. If you come see us at Gardner and Mendoza, I assure you that it's extremely, extremely clean and disinfected here. All right? But do bring a mask, please.
Awesome. The reason I asked John to kind of go over that quickly is because we had very late lunch today, and the restaurant where we went, we love going there, and we just were not feeling confident about the COVID-19 policy. So there's a big sign on the door that we have to enter the restaurant with mask on. Sure, no problem. Everyone has a mask now. I mean, actually, I had to get one out of John's car.
Right.
And but some of their employees did not have the mask on. Our waitress had the mask on, but it was underneath her nose, so her nose was exposed. I mean, there were crumbs on the bench, and these are just things that I wouldn't even care about pre-coronavirus, but all these things were kind of like popping up out at me, and I was just thinking, ooh, okay, hopefully nobody sneezed on the salad with coronavirus. Yeah. But and then that's compared to another local restaurant where we went, and they had total. I mean, it was crazy.
Right.
Which was, I don't know. I felt good about it, but.
And if you need to bring us something and you're not comfortable coming in, we do have a box outside where you can leave documents, and that way you don't have to have any face-to-face with anyone here. It's always been a very clean place, obviously, but we really are taking it seriously, and we're even staggering. You do come to see us. You almost never find more than a few people here at a time, and we're trying to stagger when people are here so that we don't ever have, 9-10 people all working in the office at the same time.
Right, that's correct. And also we are seeing clients by appointment only. Yeah. We love, like I said, pre-coronavirus, having our clients just drop in, bring us food, bring us documents, but we are really only seeing clients by appointment only, and really trying to adhere to that, just because we want to keep everyone safe. Everyone's healthy at our law firm, but some of the extended family members of some of our team members, they may fall into the category of the immunocompromised and the age group. So right. We're really just trying to just do our part in keeping everyone safe. And I hate to belabor this.
We've already got a comment here. The very good Zoom is awesome.
Yes, and that's from direct experience.
Yeah, it
Thank you
is.
so much.
I mean, we have clients all over the world, so we were using Zoom a long time ago. So this is nothing new for us to be talking to clients in a video conference.
Yeah, first it was Skype, then it was Zoom. We do Messenger as well, WhatsApp, if for those who use that. All right, but anyway, cool. Enough about that. Yep. We're safe. We're good. We're awesome. We look forward to seeing you now.
We're clean.
I am not seeing clients in the office right now. I'm seeing all clients virtually, and that's primarily because I'm working on a couple of projects, and it saves a lot of time to not have to. It's more time efficient as well. A Zoom call is more time efficient. So, but working on some projects, and I'm not seeing clients personally. So if you want to see an attorney in person, then it would be with Attorney Lawler and Dominique Sampson, who's been with us for 3 years now. Dominique, initially as an intern, and then as a lawyer. And now he's getting ready to swear in to take the DC bar this month, hopefully by the end of this month.
Well, took the DC bar to swear in to practice.
Yes, right. So anyhow, you are in good hands. We have Grace and Jackie, and John, of course, is still seeing clients in the office. And we're here. We're here for you guys. All right, let me just quickly go over some of the USCIS updates.
Right on.
I'm using paper today because we're using a different setup, and I think we're out of screen a little. I think I'm out of screen. Let me get a little closer. Let me get a closer here. There we go. All right. So for those who may have a student visa or know someone with a student visa and F1 visa, on the 6th of July, ICE issued a new policy stating that international students on F1 and M1 visas may not remain in the United States or legally enter the United States if their classes are online. With the recommendation, and this is kind of crazy, and I got this from a newspaper article, a Forbes article by Jemima McAvoy. So I want to give her credit. This is her newspaper article. But the recommendation that students in online-only schools should transfer to a school with in-person instruction to remain in lawful status. Okay, transferring 3 weeks before the semester starts, or leave the United States. So a hybrid of online and in-person classes are okay, and students can stay in the country if it is certified that they are not taking an entirely online course load this semester. So what happens if you do stay and you have this 100% online? Immigration consequences and initiation of removal proceedings can occur. So this right now is being challenged. Harvard and MIT and many of the top academic institutions of higher education are completely against this, and Harvard and MIT filed a lawsuit against the administration, which seeks a temporary restraining order against this policy, and it also wants this policy vacated and declared that it is unlawful. So a little couple of interesting statistics about international students, which I did not know. So in the years of 2018 and 2019, 41 billion was contributed to the economy by international students. $41 billion. So this is huge, and I'm sure that includes the tuition for international students. Whenever we talk to our clients who are thinking about changing their status to an F1, maybe going from a B1, B2 tourist visa to an F1, I always say, just be aware that the tuition for an international student is quite high. So I'm sure that the tuition accounts for some of that 41 billion. So this is big news for those who are here on F1, and there are many. I didn't get a number before we came on, but tens of thousands of students are going to be impacted by this. So we will keep an eye on this. If you have any questions, let us know. We are still learning about it, but we're here to answer any questions if you fall into this category and your university is only online in the fall. That's going to be a problem right now for you. So reach out to us if you have any questions about that.
I suspect this is an effort to try to push the schools to try to have kids come back to school. That's what my guess. It is not as much to do with immigration. They're using immigration, the administration is, to try to force these schools or give them an incentive to try to get in-person classes going again. That's just my personal.
John is so smart. He has not read anything about this, and that is absolutely correct.
Yeah, that would be
I mean, even
that's just my gut.
Even Trump has said that. But it's going to be quite a hardship, and some of the students are out there, and they have choice words for this current policy.
It's a weird policy unless you look at it from a political standpoint.
Yes, this gentleman, Chris Wintersinger, Harvard PhD student from Canada, he says these orders, one after another, which we've been seeing these orders, these proclamations, distract me and my colleagues from the work we're doing and make us question whether we are truly valued and welcomed here. And then he also adds that he doesn't think he's going to be impacted by this policy, but There's so much uncertainty, it weighs upon his status here in the United States, and we certainly have clients who are feeling that uncertainty and just not knowing where they stand here in the United States. So hold tight, guys. We will keep you posted about what happens here with this. All right, as we mentioned last week, we've got the furloughs that are quite likely to be in place beginning August the 3rd. We know that more than half of the employees of USCIS will be impacted and have already received, I believe, a furlough letter, which is supposed to start on August the 3rd. The messaging that we need to tell you guys about this right now is what we've been saying from day one of this COVID-19, and that is if you're ready to file your case, or if you're thinking about filing your case, or you've been thinking for a while that you should file your case, you should file your case, because the sooner you file, the faster your case will be. And we really are going to start seeing some super long processing times, especially with just everything ramping back up. And then with this whole possible furlough of more than half of the USCIS employees, I just think the processing times, as the newspaper articles have said, are going to come to kind of a grinding halt. So it's best to get it in now, and if you have any questions about that as to why, let us know, and we'll try to explain it to you a little bit better. But we really strongly feel that way, that you gotta do, whether you use our law firm or whether you self-file, just do it.
If you've ever called somewhere and you got a message that said something along the lines of, please do not hang up, calls will be answered in the order they were received. It's a situation kind of like that.
Right.
And we have a question here, I think. Can I call USCIS to expedite my EAD AOSC 9 even without a biometrics appointment yet? It's been 80 days. Or should I just wait until I have an appointment?
BJ, how are you? I know about your case. You can try. You can absolutely try to get an expedited EAD. That's always an option for you. You don't have to have a biometrics in order to make that request. And it doesn't hurt to try to do that. I know what your circumstances are, and I know why you want to do it and why you have to do it. And I think we talked a little bit last week about working while a 485 is pending based on marriage to a U.S. citizen and what that would mean for your case. We talked a little bit about that last week, but absolutely, just go for it. Just try. It does not hurt to try. They're not going to, yank your case or anything. Hopefully that answers your question, BJ. Any other questions? Nope, I don't see any. Thanks for monitoring that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Immigration court updates. Arlington. Your what?
Your wingman.
My wingman, okay. Non-detained hearings are going to start up in Arlington, Virginia, which is where our immigration court is, on July 20th of this month. And if you have any questions about your court, no matter where you are in the United States, you can call the 1-800 number, case status information with the EOIR, and that number is, you have a pen? 1-800-898-7180. So you just put in the 1-800-898-7180. You push 1, you put your A number in, and then I believe the next button you press is 3. But just follow the prompts and you'll get your court date there. Okay. And then I wanted to also mention that if you received a request for evidence or a continuance letter for your NATs or any type of notice of intent to deny or revoke, and if you received that notice in between March 1st and then into the future September 11th, 2020, then you have an additional 60 days to respond to that. We keep saying this, and for those of you who have been here and like, oh my gosh, she's saying that again, it's because it's not, we're saying again because it's not on the notice. So you may get a request for evidence from USCIS, and on that request for evidence, it will give you the due date. But this additional time is not mentioned on that notice, and so you don't necessarily know unless you've been watching Radlin and John's Facebook Live, or you're just completely up on all the immigration policy changes on a daily basis. So sorry if it's repetitive for those who have been here, but if you receive that notice between March 1st and into the future up to September 11th, then you have an additional 60 days to respond to that. So for example, if your due date is July 25th, okay, you can file that within 60 days of July 25th up to September 23rd, okay? So we use timeanddate.com to calculate these periods of time, like 60 days or 30 days or within 33 days or 87 days. These are some of the common due date times. And you should too. Don't use your calendar and don't use counting. So timeanddate.com is what we use. It's free. Yes. It's awesome.
If you use your own counting, you'll find yourself in the middle of the night going, but so is the day, is that the 30th day, the day that is due, or is it the next day? Is the 30th day count as one of the... You don't need to do all that.
Don't do all that. Just use timeanddate.com or just date calculator, Google date calculator. All right. So there is, for those who are interested in asylum, there is a new asylum proposed rule, and it's going to allow Department of Homeland Security and Department of Justice to consider emergency public health concerns based on communicable disease due to potential international threats from the spread of pandemics when trying to determine whether someone is ineligible for asylum or withholding of removal on security grounds. So basically what that means is if someone has coronavirus, then that can be a basis for denying an asylum application or withholding a removal application based on the security grounds. So that is a proposed rule change, and there are many people, including me, up in arms about this because it's kind of crazy. So hopefully that doesn't go forward, but it's going to be published. What's the date today? I think it's published.
8th.
Okay, published tomorrow, July 9th. And, the public will have comments for 30 days. So we will keep you posted as to what happens with that proposed asylum rule. So looks like we don't have any questions right now. Right. So we can keep on going.
Let's keep trucking.
Should I do a Marco Rubio and have a glass of water?
Sure.
I'm thirsty. Cheers, guys. It's agua though. You can cheers with water. Yeah. Marijuana.
Yeah, let's talk about marijuana.
Let's talk about marijuana. We talked about marijuana last week.
Yeah, this is a really, really important thing to talk about, okay? Because as many of you know, as of July 1st, in Virginia, simple possession of marijuana was decriminalized. So under the new law, if you are in possession of marijuana, we're talking simple possession, small quantities here, right? It's no longer a class 1 misdemeanor as it was for many, many years. It is now a civil penalty of $25, okay? So for some people, they're thinking, oh, that's great. It's been decriminalized and I don't have to worry about, going to jail or having to go to court any longer for simple possession of marijuana, all right? The problem for most of our clients is that even though Virginia has decriminalized marijuana, USCIS and ICE have not decriminalized marijuana, okay? The federal government has not decriminalized marijuana. Yeah. So even though you may have no problem here in state court, you just get a summons and you pay your fine and you're done with it. If you have any kind of immigration case, or if you're a non-U.S. citizen on a visa or you're a green card, whatever it is, okay, a marijuana possession charge is still potentially a major problem for you. So I want to be very clear here, and Radlin wants to be very clear here, that if you're not a U.S. citizen, you do not want to be caught in possession of marijuana, okay, period. That's the message. And I just want to make sure that there's no misconception, because I know that people talk and you'll hear people saying, well, it's not a crime anymore. it is still for immigration purposes. Okay.
Right. It makes you ineligible for many benefits that you could be applying for or renewing, like um, DACA or TPS,
Right.
and even problematic for people who are applying for U.S. citizenship, problematic for people who are lawful permanent residents and leave the country and are trying to come back into the United States and may be inadmissible because of the marijuana use. And even admitting to marijuana use is a problem. So we just, we're not trying to make any type of statement here about marijuana, or we're simply making a statement about immigration and marijuana.
Right.
Okay. Whatever you want to do, if you're a U.S. citizen, go ahead and do it. But
Right.
for our community, this could be potentially
right.
devastating and detrimental to the case.
Marijuana plus non-U.S. citizen status equals trouble.
Equals trouble.
Okay.
And John and I have, over the years, we've talked about this. We've talked about the criminal consequences. I'm sorry, the immigration consequences of a criminal charge, a criminal conviction. We've done continuing legal education and helping our colleagues, our attorney colleagues, and even judges learn more about this topic. And we're just the best. Okay, I can't say that. We just are in a position to really, if you have a criminal charge, okay, and you haven't been convicted of the criminal charge yet, and you have an immigration case, and you're not a U.S. citizen, okay, or if you're not a U.S. citizen and you are worried about this because you are not a U.S. citizen, and you know that, hey, whatever the case may be and whatever the circumstances may be, hey, I was wrongly accused of this. It wasn't me. It was a misunderstanding or whatever. Or maybe you actually did what they're accusing you of doing. You have to talk to a criminal defense attorney who knows about the consequences for your immigration case.
Yeah.
And this is why we are, Steve, this is why I'm just so adamant about this. There was a quote that we heard from an attorney. Where is it? It's
right here.
Yeah, here we go. So I'm going to ask John this question, and I'll ask you guys this question too. And this was in reference to someone being charged with a crime in Virginia. And their criminal defense attorney said, this is a state court criminal case, and your immigration status has nothing to do with your state court criminal case. Who here thinks that is a true statement, that your immigration status has absolutely nothing to do with your state court criminal case? And it's a misdemeanor. It has nothing to do with it. Raise your hand. Okay, we can't see hands raised. But I'll ask John this question. True or false? Did this lawyer say something true, or did it say something false when he said this?
No, that is absolutely false, of course. Oftentimes, not only does it have to do with the immigration case, but oftentimes the criminal charges against the person are the least of their concerns. The immigration consequences that are going to follow are way more severe than what they're looking at in terms of the criminal conviction and possible sentence in the state court. There are numerous examples, but some basic ones. We just talked about marijuana. You might you think that it's a minor situation. I paid my small fine, no big deal. And then you go to renew your DACA and you find out that you've got a major problem because you've got this marijuana possession charge. Domestic assault and battery, petty larceny, obstruction of justice, fraud.
All misdemeanors.
Right? These are all misdemeanors, and these are all cases that, I know from 20 years of doing criminal defense work, are not major problems. You go to state court, they're not. In Norfolk, for example, petty larceny, they have a program where you can get a deferred finding. They take it under advisement. You do some larceny classes, case gets dismissed. But the problem is the court has already checked a box that says that the facts were sufficient for a finding of guilt, but deferred it. And if you're a non-U.S. citizen, that's a problem. Domestic assault and battery, brandishing a firearm. These are all situations where you may have a criminal defense lawyer who doesn't know anything about immigration law, You tell them that you're not a U.S. citizen. You say, is that a problem? And they say, nah, this has nothing to do with immigration. And then you go to court, you get a slap on the wrist and a very small fine, and you think it's over. That's the end of it. Until you travel abroad and then re-entering the U.S., you get detained. Or you go to renew something and you find out that you're being put in removal proceedings. So you really, really, really need to be careful with this. If you're a non-U.S. citizen and you have a criminal charge, no matter what it is, you need to make sure that your attorney knows that you're not a U.S. citizen. And if your attorney doesn't seem to care about that or doesn't know about that or seems uninterested in that, then you need to get a different criminal defense attorney. And I'm not trying to slam the criminal defense bar, but for 20 years we've been trying to sound the alarm about the consequences of criminal charges on immigration status. And a lot of people have listened, and we've made a lot of progress with it, but there's still a lot of folks out there that it is just totally and completely not on their radar at all. So if you have questions, give us a call. And if you have a lawyer that you like, that's fine. And if they don't know about it, give us a call anyway. Maybe we can talk to that attorney and help bring them up to speed and work with them with the immigration part of it. Okay? So
yeah, it's super important. We can't really stress that enough.
This is my soapbox. I apologize. Every time I get on it, I won't shut up. But I have seen so many heartbreaking situations where somebody did something that's pretty minor criminal-wise. They had a very minor sentence, and then they have a major immigration problem. And the criminal defense lawyer didn't mean to, sell them down the river. They just didn't know. They should know. They have a duty to know, but they didn't. And then it's just a problem, and then we're left trying to fix it, and sometimes we can't, and that's heartbreaking. All right, I'm off of my soapbox.
Yes, and you've done a lot of amazing things for our clients who have found themselves in this situation. So much so that John will call me. Well, we're married, right? So we're talking about this a lot, probably too much, and tell me the outcome, and I just think to myself, I mean, they could not have hired a better attorney for this case because someone else would not have known that. Someone else is not having the immigration conversation, and we just happen to have a perfect combination of criminal defense attorney, immigration attorneys, and we just know how to handle the cases. So if you are if you find yourself under these circumstances, please let us know. We have a troll on
Steve.
Our buddy Steve DeCastro. So also really quickly, Steve made a joke with another post and said that you don't have to touch the marijuana. You could use this. It was like paraphernalia. It was so you wouldn't actually have to touch the marijuana. I don't know what it is. Steve seems to know what it is, but thankfully he's a U.S. citizen. But even marijuana or drug paraphernalia can be a problem. We've seen TPS cases get denied because of that. So not so fast, buddy. Paraphernalia can be a problem. So just be careful with all of it.
Yeah, and even charges that I'm on the box again. Even charges that may not be the kiss of death for you for immigration can still cause delay problems. I mean, if you have a DUI, if you're getting ready to naturalize, and then you get a DUI and you get 3 years of a good behavior period where you've got suspended jail time and you got to wait, your NATS case now just got postponed for 3 years because you can't have final action on some things while you've got good behavior periods that are pending.
Right.
Sometimes, not always, but sometimes immigration will not take final action on something if you're on any kind of probation. So you just got to be really careful with this stuff.
Yeah, right? And for that specific case there, I mean, they're not going to wait 3 years until you finish your good behavior period. They're going to just deny your naturalization because you can't. It's denied because you're on probation. So you have to refile, start the whole process again. And sometimes that's something that can be worked with regard to the good behavior period and all that. So all right, we're off of our soapbox, and I think that is it. We had a couple of questions. I'm scanning here to see if we have any more. We really appreciate, as always, you guys being on our Facebook Live. You have dinner to prepare and other fun things to do, but we appreciate it. And we want to just say, if you want to ask a question or make a comment in the Facebook lives, you will have to follow the page just so we can cut down on some of the trolls. Unfortunately, our friend Steve has followed the page, so he's able to make comments. Just kidding. We love you, Steve. Yes. So we really appreciate your support. If you think Facebook Live can help your family, your friends, please share it. Please have them follow us so they can get our live updates. And we have, just as a reminder, we have 2 offices to serve you. Our main office is in the Hilltop area of Virginia Beach, and the new location is in Newport News, and you can give us a call if you want to schedule an appointment at either of those. The Virginia Beach office, which is the main office, you can call that to schedule an appointment for either of those offices. It's 757-464-9224. Or you can send us an email at info@gmlaw.net. We are starting a weekly email just because there's so many updates and so many policy changes with immigration right now with COVID-19. And we're going to try to put it out every week. So if you want to get that email, you can send us an email to info@gmlaw.net and we'll put you on the list. And I mean, we'll send you some stuff too, like pictures of us and I don't know, whatever else it is that we send. Usually not too overboard.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. And to our old friend and colleague, Steve. Love you, Steve. So glad you were here with us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see you. All right, 2 thumbs up, guys. Thank you so much. See you.
There we are.
Right there.
Gotcha. All right. See you guys. Have a good night.
Take care. Bye-bye.